What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Sanchez405 coming at you. It's on the Warpath. And before we get started, if you're new to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button. Tap that bell for me so you get notifications every time there's new content posted to the channel. And as always, for everybody come back, you know how we do this, family. Make sure you like the video, comment, share it out if at all possible. I really appreciate the support. And don't forget, we're getting ever so close to 1,000 subscribers. And that means we're going to be giving away that jersey. So y'all keep your eyes peeled and your ears open. However you phrase that, just make sure you're on the alert. And before we even get started, it is the Who He Is series, but just wanted to touch base and talk about the passing of Joe Bugle, the longtime offensive line coach for the Redskins, was a head coach, Boss Hogg, as some folks called him. Was one of the first coaches I really enjoyed as an assistant when he came back in 2004 with Gibbs and the rest of the squad. So he embodied what it meant to be a fan as well. Like, he hated the Cowboys. This man had a deep-seated hatred of the Dallas Cowboys, and that's one thing I loved about him. And when he came back in 2004, he didn't have the Hogs, but he tried to rename them into the Dirtbags and helped Chris Samuels reach a new level in his career as one of the highlights of that new offensive line that he helped build back from 2004 to 2009. He worked under Jim Zorn for 2 years before retiring when Mike Shanahan took over. But Joe Bugle passed away this week. He'll be missed by his family and, of course, Redskins Nation. And like I said, he was a head coach for the Cardinals and the Raiders. So rest in peace, Coach Joe, Boss Hogg. But today, wanted to talk to you. It is a Who Is series, the defensive side of the ball. We are talking about the linebackers today. And, of course, that means we are going to highlight Coach Steve Russ, the linebackers coach. The man has a decorated career in college, was a graduate of Air Force, second team all WAC. No, he's not a WAC player, but he was in that conference back in 94. He's only the 5th player to ever be drafted from the Air Force Academy. He also won the Brian Bullard Award, which is the Air Force Heisman Trophy. That's what they consider it. He spent 2 years active duty after being drafted by the Broncos, or before he was being drafted by the Broncos. I don't really know how that worked out there, but came back, won a couple of Super Bowls with them, played for the LA Extreme and the XFL, the first incarnation of it with Tommy Maddox and the boys. But during his career, he played linebacker, a lot of special teams there. In 2001, he went to Ohio University, the second-rate football program in the state of Ohio. And he was a linebacker and special teams coach, and then he moved on to Syracuse in 2005 as a linebackers coach. He was the DC in 2007. Then he went to Wake Forest, where he worked with the tight ends and fullbacks for 2 years in that system. Then he moved over to linebackers coach in 2010. 2011, his final season with the Demon Deacons, he was the defensive backs coach, worked with Josh Bush, who was a first-team All-ACC player, and then he was a third-team All-American. So good to that credit right there. And then Bush was a 6th-round draft pick of the Broncos, I believe, or the Jets. But he was in the AFC, so he got that as one of Steve Russ's pet projects from the defensive side of the ball. And then he had a chance to go back home to the alma mater, to the Air Force Academy, and put together some good seasons there. He was the assistant head coach, co-defensive coordinator. He also was the DB and inside linebackers coach for a little bit, and then towards the end, he was the sole defensive coordinator there. When he was promoted to the defensive coordinator in 2014, they improved in all major categories. They were 10th in rushing, 33rd in total defense. This is in the nation. But probably the biggest thing was the team took a 15-point drop in points allowed per game. They started with 40 and 13 and moved all the way down to 24.2. So really good there. In 2016, they had the 10th ranked rushing defense in the nation. Weston Steelhammer, that's a heck of a name for a defensive back, but that was his pet project there during that season. He was a 3-time first all-WAC conference player. I think they were in the Mountain West now. Yeah, they're in the Mountain West, so scratch that. And ranked 10th in 2017 in the nation in passing defense, was number 1 in the Mountain West there. Second in points per game for opposing first downs. And then he got an opportunity to finally come back to the NFL as a coach. Ron Rivera hired him in 2018 as the Panthers linebackers coach. Got to work with Luke Kuechly, who had a career high 20 tackles for loss, made the Pro Bowl there, and was a first team All-Pro in 2018. Then he got to work with Shaq Thompson as well. Yes, that same Shaq Thompson that he got a little bit of the geist to the face down there in that loss in 2019. I guess he did not teach Shaq Thompson how to take a stiff arm, but I digress. Steve Russ coming in to a good situation. I think one of the more plentiful positions in the Redskins defense. We talk about how good the defensive line is, but this linebacking room has a lot of talent there. You've got veteran presence now with Thomas Davis. You've got really, who are you going to play at middle linebacker? John Bostic or Cole Holcomb? That's going to go hand in hand there. Ryan Anderson, how are you going to play him? Reuben Foster, when he's healthy, when he's cleared to play, is he going to be dominant? Steve Russ is going to be charged with getting the most out of him. You've got Sean Dion Hamilton, Josh Harvey Clemens, who I think will be cut. And then you have Kevin Pierre-Louis, who comes in from the Chicago Bears as free agent. So Steve Russ has a good career of working in defense. He was a linebacker in the NFL. He's won 3 championships as a player and has a record of improving defense at the college level. But, some people will say that he got lucky in Carolina because of the fact that he had to work with this linebacker talent of Shaq Thompson, Luke Kuechly. Then you had Thomas Davis there in 2018 as well, and came out there and played after he was suspended for 4 games. Came out and played pretty well. So I think this is a good pickup for the Redskins. You've got a guy who has a military background, so that's going to add discipline to that room that may not have been there under the previous regime. So what do y'all always tell you? We will see how this pans out. Tell me what you think about Steve Russ, the new linebackers coach for the Washington Redskins. I'm excited, y'all. And guess what? We only got one more. We got one more position coach to fill out, and then we will complete the series, and we may have a bonus one as well. So make sure you stay tuned to that. But like I said, tell me what you think in the comments. Like, share this video out. I love you guys. I appreciate all the support that you're giving the channel, and you're giving me as well, and the feedback, good and bad. But I'm saying, Charles 405, how do we close out here on every video? Love, peace, and hell. And I'll be talking to y'all real soon. I'm out.